subscribe, guys. Damn. I had no idea Deontay Wilder was such a vile, evil man. Because apparently, he wants Dominic Breazeale's son to be at ringside to see Deontay Wilder, so that he sees basically his father's murderer, or, killer, or the guy who, as he puts it, crippled his father. In other words, what he's saying is, if he fights Dominic Breazeale down the line, he hopes his son is there with him at ringside, so that he could see, after his father is, I guess, paralyzed or, permanently damaged goods after their fight. So he basically wants to scar Dominic Breazeale's sons for the rest of his life. And he wants to inflict damage on Dominic Breazeale. Once again, Deontay Wilder is talking crazy. Once again, Deontay Wilder is angry. Deontay Wilder is always angry. That's something I noticed about him. If you notice, like, whenever he does interviews, he always seems angry. You notice that, like, if you ask him about Dominic Breazeale, he's angry. You ask him about Tyson Fury, he's angry. You ask him about Eddie Hearn, shit, don't even get me started. That look at how angry he gets when you ask him about Eddie Hearn. He gets really upset. He really does not like Eddie Hearn. And let's not even talk about Joshua. You ask him about Joshua, he gets really upset. You ask him about Dillian White, he gets really upset. Wilder just seems always like he's angry. If you just look at the attitudes between Joshua and someone like Deontay Wilder, they're both totally different. Joshua, very calm, he doesn't seem angry or bothered by anything. He just always seems like, well, sometimes he does get a little annoyed by stuff. I noticed that, but most of the times he just looks chilled, right? But you just compare that to Wilder. Wilder just always seems, hostile, just like he's on the edge. And I think the reason he feels this way is because he's just annoyed. He's annoyed because he knows that people know that he's a cherry picker. He's annoyed that people know that he's not the real champion. Anthony Joshua is the real champion. He's annoyed that people know, and boxing fans know, that he's making $1.5 million while Anthony Joshua is making $25 million. He's annoyed about this because he wishes he could be in that spot. He wishes he could fool the boxing public. He wishes he could fool the boxing public into thinking that he's actually the true champion. But he can't, because us boxing fans are very smart. We're smart enough to see through the lies. We're smart enough to go on Google, to look on BoxRec. We're smart enough to know what a true champion basically does in his career, and that is defend against quality opponents, not guys we never heard of. But when it comes to Wilder, he's pissed off at this because he knows that we know that he is basically a cherry picker, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that he can't get out. He cannot get away with cherry picking, and no one will say anything about it, because for years he was able to cherry pick, and no one was saying anything about it because no one was talking about Wilder back then. Back in 2012, 2011, when he was fighting guys with 150 losses in their records, no one was saying nothing about it. But once he started fighting, more on Showtime, once he started getting more, publicity and more fights on air, that's when people started noticing, oh, wait a minute, this guy's fighting guys who are absolute, shit houses. And that's when they started talking shit about him. And he's angry because we as boxing fans have been, way before I ever created a channel. I was talking shit about Wilder back in 2014. That was years before I created a channel. And not just me, several, boxing fans I will see online making videos, saying, why is Wilder fighting these shit level guys? So people have been talking shit about Deontay Wilder for about 6-7 years now. And all this is catching up to Wilder. He's mad that people, in his eyes, he thinks they never give him credit, but it's not that they never give him credit. They just talk shit about him and criticize him because they don't like his level of opposition. And when he was defending his belts, his belts, excuse me, his belt, his WBC, his one belt. When he was defending his belt, he was defending it against low-level guys, and rightfully so. The boxing fans had a right to let him know and how they feel about his choice of opponents. Like, that's what Wilder has to understand. Us boxing fans have the right to make videos or leave comments letting the boxer knows how we feel, as long as we keep it respectful, as long as we don't go around, bringing the boxer's family the way Deontay Wilder does. As long as we don't do that, as long as we don't threaten, as long as we keep it respectful. But we as boxing fans have a right to be like, you know what, I don't like the fact that you're fighting this guy that I never heard of, and I think he's a bum. There's nothing wrong with that. It's an opinion. Us boxing fans have an opinion. People have an opinion. You know what I'm saying? We have opinions. But Deontay Wilder doesn't like that people have opinions, because he always seems to get angry when he sees someone saying that he cherry-picked this guy or this guy. Listen, man, it's an opinion. That's all it is.